Well, hello. Today's movie is a 1995 sci-fi with Bruce Willis, directed by Terry Gilliam, The 12 Monkeys. In 1996, a virus wipes out most of humanity, forcing the survivors to live underground. James Cole is a criminal who must go to the surface to collect samples. He is chosen to go back in time to find out who is responsible for the virus. He gets sent back in era to 1990 and put in a mental institution in Baltimore. There he meets Dr. Rayleigh, his therapist, who of course thinks he's completely delusional and gets locked up. He also meets Jeffrey Goins, whose father is a prominent virologist. Goins is also insane and part of a radical anti-corporatist and environmentalist group called the Army of the 12 Monkeys. Coles thinks he is responsible for the virus and that he gave him the idea. He then gets sent back to the future and then gets sent back properly right to the end of 1995, where he kidnaps Dr. Rayleigh, forces her to take him to Philadelphia to find Goins and the Army of the 12 Monkeys. Along the way, Dr. Rayleigh starts to think he isn't crazy, but Cole does start to think he's crazy. But they eventually find out the truth of the Army of the 12 Monkeys and the virus. So this movie was based on a short French film called La Jetée, which also dealt with, a post-apocalyptic world and time travel. It was made on a budget of $29 million, but made $168 million, which is probably Terry Gilliam's most successful movie. I like the director. I definitely know him from the old Monty Python days. I love Time Bandits and, Baron Munchausen. Didn't much care for Brazil or The Fisher King. Anyway, he also originally wanted Nick Nolte and Jeff Bridges to play the parts of Cole and Goins, but the studio didn't like that. And he wasn't really sold on Brad Pitt for the part, but did relent. And it was a really good choice because he really knows how to play this crazy guy, and he actually got nominated for Best Supporting Actor for Academy Award. Didn't win it though. And this is a pretty interesting movie. The visuals behind it are really stark. The future where animals now basically rule the city, and it has this kind of grimy feel to it. I think it was filmed mostly in Baltimore and Philadelphia, which even back in the 90s were kind of cities in decline. And I have to say, I really enjoyed the movie. I think, all the actors did a great part of it. There's also this kind of feeling, is Cole really from the future, or is he just insane? And, it kept it up really to the end. And it also, tied in the flashbacks that they kept having him as a child. And it ends, it's also a pretty kind of grim movie because it says, they're not trying to change the past. They say the past is set. It can't change. They just want to get, a sample of the virus so they could fix it for the future. And, it has a kind of somewhat ambiguous ending there. And, I think it's a decent movie. You want something to find for a good post-apocalyptic movie, I think it's a good choice. And if you stuck with me this long, I thank you. You're a unique individual.